How do you rise above any circumstance, no matter how heavy, uncertain, or painful it feels right now? If life seems to be testing you, if the ground beneath you feels unstable, then stay with me. This message may be exactly what your soul needs to hear today. Because what I'm about to share isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about something far deeper, something that can change the entire direction of your life. Before we dive in, take a deep breath. And if you feel this message resonates with you, subscribe to this channel. This space is where we awaken, heal, and transform together. Now, let's talk about something that may sound simple but holds the power to shift your entire reality: joy. Not the surface-level happiness that comes and goes, not the laughter that fades when life gets hard, but the deep, grounded joy that lives underneath everything. The kind that becomes your compass when nothing outside makes sense. Joy isn't a reaction to perfect circumstances. It's a decision. It's an act of inner leadership. And sometimes, it's the most rebellious thing you can choose. Because when your mind tells you to worry, to panic, to shrink, and instead, you choose to smile, in that moment, you reclaim your power. Most people think joy comes after things get better, after the job, the relationship, the breakthrough. But true joy is the force that creates those things. It's the vibration that magnetizes opportunities, synchronicities, people who uplift you. When you embody joy, you become a frequency match for life itself. And yes, it sounds paradoxical. How can you feel joy when everything around you feels chaotic or uncertain? The answer lies in remembering that joy doesn't deny your pain, it transforms it. It doesn't ignore fear, it holds it with compassion and says, "Even here, I can still find light." Throughout history, the people who changed the world, those who survived the darkest times and still inspired others, weren't the ones who never suffered. They were the ones who remembered joy despite the suffering. They cultivated it like a sacred fire, refusing to let it die out. You see, joy isn't just an emotion. It's energy, an inner alignment that shifts everything it touches. When you bring joy into the smallest actions, making coffee, talking to someone, taking one conscious breath, that energy begins to ripple outward. It rewires your nervous system, it strengthens your resilience, and it draws your mind back to the present moment, where life is actually happening. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. You start to realize that even in the middle of challenges, there's still something good to feel: gratitude, beauty, stillness. You stop waiting for joy and start becoming it. Here's the truth that most people never tell you. You don't have to wait for life to change to feel joy. Joy is what changes life. The moment you decide to cultivate it, even a little, your world begins to shift. The heaviness softens. The confusion starts to clear. And life, as if recognizing your courage, begins to open new doors. Because joy is not an escape from reality. It's your power to create a new one. When we talk about joy as a force of transformation, it might sound poetic, but it's also profoundly scientific. Modern psychology and neuroscience now confirm what ancient wisdom has always known: your emotional state doesn't just color your experience, it creates it. The thoughts you repeat, the emotions you dwell in, shape the neural pathways of your brain. And joy, surprisingly, is one of the most powerful rewiring tools that exist. Studies from Harvard and Stanford have shown that people who cultivate daily moments of gratitude and joy, even for just a few minutes, experience measurable changes in their brain's activity. The regions responsible for creativity, decision-making, and resilience become more active. The stress centers, those that trigger fear, self-criticism, and overthinking, start to quiet down. In other words, joy isn't something extra you sprinkle on top of life. It's the foundation of how your mind learns to trust itself again. But here's where many people get stuck. They confuse joy with constant happiness. They think that if they don't feel light or positive all the time, something is wrong with them. But joy doesn't mean you deny sadness. It's not a performance. It's presence. It's the ability to hold both pain and gratitude in the same breath. To say, yes, this hurts, and yes, I'm still open to beauty. That's where the shift begins. Because every time you choose joy, especially when your mind insists you shouldn't, you send a signal to your nervous system. I'm safe. I'm in control. And from that state of safety, the brain starts to create new associations. You stop seeing challenges as threats and start seeing them as opportunities to grow. You begin to understand that the world isn't happening to you, it's responding to you. This is why some people seem to rise after every failure, while others collapse under the same pressure. It's not luck. It's emotional mastery, the ability to redirect energy from fear into creation. Joy becomes a compass, a tool for navigation through uncertainty. When you follow it, even quietly, you find clarity where before there was only confusion. Think about the last time you were genuinely joyful. Maybe it was a small moment, laughing with someone you love, seeing light fall through trees, or simply feeling grateful for being alive. In that moment, time slowed down. You were fully present. Your mind wasn't comparing, judging, or planning. It was just here. That's the natural state of the human spirit, free, alive, connected. But somewhere along the way, many of us unlearned that state. We replaced it with striving, perfectionism, and self-criticism. We started to believe that we had to earn joy, that it was a reward for being good enough. And that belief quietly drained our energy, our creativity, our hope. Because joy doesn't come after worthiness, it reveals it.so. When you begin to reclaim your joy, you're not being naive. You're not escaping the world. You're remembering who you were before fear taught you to shrink. You're awakening the part of you that trusts life again. And the fascinating thing is, the more joy you allow yourself to feel, the more resilient you become. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because your energy stops depending on external events. You start to generate light from within. And that's the kind of power no one can take away from you. Even psychologists studying trauma now emphasize this. Joy is not a luxury, it's a survival mechanism. It restores the balance between your mind and body, allowing you to adapt, recover, and grow stronger than before. So when everything around you feels uncertain, when the world seems loud and heavy, the most courageous act isn't to fight harder or worry more. It's to pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what small joy can I find right now? Maybe it's a sound, a color, a memory. That's all it takes to begin the shift. Because once you find even a drop of light, it expands. Every lasting change begins not with massive action, but with a single, quiet choice, the decision to feel differently, even before anything changes on the outside. That's how the practice of joy starts, not with perfect circumstances, but with permission. Permission to stop waiting for life to become easier before you allow yourself to smile again. Permission to see your day as something you can shape from the inside out. Think of your emotional state as a frequency. Whatever signal you send out through your thoughts and feelings, life mirrors it back. When your mind constantly plays the song of fear, guilt, or resentment, that becomes the vibration you live in, and your experience is aligned to match it. But the moment you begin to tune your inner frequency to gratitude and joy, even softly, the signal changes. You begin attracting new people, opportunities, and insights that resonate with that same energy. Psychologists often refer to this as emotional conditioning. The brain is constantly scanning for patterns. If you habitually focus on what's missing or wrong, your brain strengthens those pathways, making it easier to feel frustrated, anxious, or hopeless. But when you begin to consciously celebrate what's good, even small things, your brain starts wiring itself for resilience. It's not spiritual fluff. It's neuroplasticity in action. Start simple. The next time you catch yourself sinking into self-criticism or worry, pause. Take one slow breath. Ask yourself, what could I appreciate in this exact moment? Maybe it's the fact that you're breathing, that you're learning, that you still have time. That's how you begin retraining your mind. You replace old automatic thoughts with new ones that carry the vibration of possibility. You don't need to fake positivity. You don't need to force yourself to smile when your heart is heavy. Authentic joy grows from authenticity, from the willingness to face life honestly, but not bitterly. When you look at pain through the lens of growth, you're already transforming it. You're telling your subconscious mind, this is not my end. This is my evolution. If you practice this daily, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts. The same problems will still exist, but they'll feel smaller. People will react to you differently. Ideas will start flowing more easily. That's not coincidence, that's coherence. When your emotions align with trust instead of tension, your energy field becomes more ordered, more magnetic. You begin to attract experiences that reflect your inner harmony. In quantum psychology, there's a concept called state causation, the idea that your internal state determines the version of reality you interact with. It's like tuning into a different channel of the same universe. The more you embody gratitude and joy, the more you access the timeline of life where those emotions are naturally mirrored back to you. And yet, joy is not about escaping the human experience. It's about deepening it. Because when you move through sadness with compassion, through fear with curiosity, through chaos with grace, you begin to embody the highest frequency of all, acceptance. And from acceptance, joy flows effortlessly. You can begin this process right now. Every morning, before you check your phone or dive into the day's noise, close your eyes for a few seconds. Place your hand on your heart. Ask yourself, what energy do I want to live in today? Don't look for words, feel it. Maybe it's calm. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's quiet joy. Let that feeling guide your breath, your thoughts, and your first action of the day. Over time, this simple practice builds emotional muscle. You start noticing how often your mind tries to pull you back into old patterns of stress or control, and you gently bring it back. Not through force, but through awareness. Each time you do that, you reclaim a piece of your power. Remember, joy isn't an emotion you chase. It's a decision you practice. It's an inner posture that says, no matter what happens, I choose to remember the light within me. And that decision, repeated again and again, creates momentum. It shifts your energy, your relationships, your entire direction in life. Because the truth is, life will always test your alignment. There will always be noise, uncertainty, and unexpected change. But those who master joy, who learn to find it not because of circumstances but despite them, move through the world like artists of reality. They create beauty out of contrast. They find meaning in what others call chaos. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, they begin to glow from within. There comes a point in everyone's journey when you realize that the real battle was never between you and the world. It was always between you and your own mind. You can spend your whole life trying to change circumstances, waiting for the perfect moment, chasing success, or proving your worth, and still feel incomplete. Because no external achievement can fill the silence created by self-doubt. That silence can only be healed from within, by meeting yourself with kindness, by forgiving yourself for every time you believed the lies your fear whispered. You see, life isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be awake, to notice when you shrink, when you speak to yourself harshly, when you disconnect from your own power. Every one of those moments is not failure, it's an invitation. A reminder that you can always return home, to presence, to compassion, to the quiet knowing that you are already enough. The people who create the biggest impact in this world are not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall, rise, and choose to love themselves anyway. They learn to turn their pain into wisdom, their fear into movement, and their self-criticism into awareness. They stop waiting for permission to be powerful. And once that shift happens inside, everything outside starts aligning. The right people appear. The right ideas flow. The right opportunities unfold. This is not magic. It's the science of alignment. Your mind, your emotions, and your actions are meant to work as one system, like three instruments playing the same song. When they are in tune, life doesn't become perfect, but it becomes clear. You no longer waste energy on resistance or guilt. You start creating instead of coping. You start flowing instead of forcing. And maybe, for the first time, you begin to understand that success was never about achieving something out there. It was about remembering something in here. Remembering that your worth was never in question. That the universe doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your vibration. When you treat yourself with love, that vibration changes everything. So as you move forward, ask yourself this: what would my life look like if I stopped criticizing myself for 1 week? How would I walk? How would I speak? What would I attempt if I knew that no matter the outcome, I would still have my own support? Sit with that question. Let it plant a seed. Because the moment you stop fighting with yourself, life stops fighting you. You begin to see beauty in the pauses, meaning in the challenges, and purpose in the waiting. You realize that every setback was a lesson in disguise. Every no was a redirection towards something better. And slowly, you start living not from fear, but from faith. Faith in your growth. Faith in your resilience. Faith that the same intelligence that makes the stars burn also breathes through you. You are not separate from it, you are made of it. And when you align with that truth, life expands. So if this message resonated with you, if you felt even a small shift in your heart, take it as a sign. A reminder that you are not alone in this journey. You are awakening, remembering, transforming. And if you'd like to keep walking this path together, exploring how to reprogram your mind, raise your vibration, and reconnect with your inner power, then take a moment to subscribe. Not just for the videos, but for the energy they carry. Because every time you choose awareness over fear, you move closer to who you were always meant to be. The journey is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you already are.